Hey, there we are. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. Hey, my name is Phil Nightingale, General Manager here. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Josh, our Service Director, here to take your calls right now at 316-462-3673. Hey, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world, anything in the racing world, anything with Hoosier tires, anything you want to talk about in the automobile world, we'd love to talk to you. Answer any questions you might have or any comments you might have, and you get a great price package valued over $130. Only show I know you get paid to call in on. You can listen to a lot of shows, but you never get paid to call. But this show you get paid. You get a great price package valued over $130 for each and every caller. Simple phone call to the front desk. Tell the girls you want to get patched into the radio show. We'll patch you in here. And as always, Josh, what's in that great package?
So we're going to send it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on that vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on the vehicle, as well as get you complete nitrogen for the tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. You'll get $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us. And then a BG products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you and give you this great price package. So, Josh, I was gone this week to some Ford meetings in Miami, so I kind of had a short week and stuff like that too. What happened in the shop this week? Anything exciting? Anything went on?
Yeah, definitely very busy this week. It seems like just maintenance in general, a lot of maintenance going on, getting these vehicles serviced up and ready to go. And then also on repairs on stuff that's, I guess, not been maintained like it needs to be from that side as well. One of the things this week, had a couple of technicians that were out for some tech training again. And man, it just, I don't think the average person understands the knowledge that these guys have to have and the tools and equipment that they have to have. But had a guy come back from one of the high voltage training classes up there, and so they break it down in a couple of different ways. But the last part of their high voltage training is when they actually remove a battery out of one of these vehicles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then they'll actually disassemble the batteries, and there's components in these hybrid batteries that they can place. It's not just like a car battery that you just replace the whole battery, the 12 volt battery. They're actually disassembling the batteries and replacing individual cells in them. And on these hybrid vehicles, the battery is the whole bottom of the car, essentially. For all intents and purposes, kind of the frame of the car.
Well, that's what I've been hearing a little bit too, Josh. As I was going to Miami, I sat on a plane with a guy that is into these electric cars, has been into them for quite a while. And he has actually taken batteries out of the cars and taken the individual cells out. He says it's just a whole bunch of like AA batteries
that are stacked
in there. And he says he's actually went in, found the bad cell, took the battery out, put another one in, put it back together, and drive, because basically cars he's working on are out of warranty.
Yeah.
From that part. So, we talk about, things changing in the world and everything else, and for our technicians and that kind of stuff. But kind of an interesting story that I've got to tell about the same thing too is I had a guy one time tell me about selling and learning to sell and all that kind of stuff. He goes, let's go way back. Let's go back to the horse and buggy days. He says, we had all these guys out there making saddles, all the different leathers and straps and all that kind of thing. And then here comes Henry Ford out of making the combustion car, which he really came out for electric car before he came with the combustion car. The world changed. And if that guy building that horse stuff didn't change, he went out of business. and a lot of them did go out of business. But there was one specific guy that said, "Hey, wait a minute, I can build those belts out of leather." So he converted his business into building the belts for Henry Ford for all the, it goes around the fan and all that kind of thing too. So he adapted.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now today but the difference is we're adapting so fast. I mean, it's changing. Like you said before, if a technician gets out of this business for 6 months, he's left behind.
Yeah, certainly. Or doesn't do any training or catch, any of the new product updates or whatever. I mean, it's, it evolves very, very rapidly around here. With the current situation, even in the new products and how we're not getting those as quickly as we were. I don't even know that I would say that it's slowed it down. It's still there. It's just we're not seeing it as quickly as we would be on the service side of the things, just because of the number of units in operation.
Stuff. Yeah. We got a long time before the service departments are going to be flipped a bunch. I mean, we got years because of, for example, when they could make, but they can't make this many F-150s. They make 800,000 F-150s in a good year when they've got the chips to build it, which we can talk about that some more too. And they're going to make the first run of these, of the Lightning F-150 is only 20,000. So we got a long road before we get to where that part. And I agree with, we got the Mach-E out there, and the Explorer's right around the corner coming with a full electric car there too. It's just going to evolve more. I mean, we got another version of the Mach-E Mustangs coming as a hybrid. So we got a lot of things coming. So it's gradually going to change. But if we don't change, we're going to be left behind.
Agree.
But we're going to get left behind so much quicker and everything else too for that part. But anyway, sitting on the plane with that guy, talking to him about that, he goes out and he tries to find all the electric cars that are out of warranty and buys them and reconditions them.
Oh yeah.
Puts them back to life, and that's how he's making his money. And he must be pretty successful because he was going to Miami to play golf for a week. So
it was working out for him. So along with that is I think too, what will help propel that, and got to experience that a little bit this week, but or last week, went to Colorado and up in the mountains and got fuel at one of the fuel stations. And even around here, I mean, gas is now approaching $4 a gallon, or getting pretty close to it. That's it's going to be I guess a plus in the electric vehicle column, as it does that. But then the other side of that, I mean, the vehicles now are so much more fuel efficient than they were years ago, with the high pressure fuel systems in them and things like that. And so, I think fuel efficiency is something that anytime you see a spike in gas prices like that, when it's double what it normally is, people start thinking about it more. How's my car running? What's the fuel efficiency? Is there anything I can do to make that better? Yeah,
I agree. Hey, anyway, real quick. Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Delbert. Good morning, Mr. Furman. Thanks, guys, everybody, for watching everything here this morning. In talking about these electric vehicles and everything else too. But, also, I talked to this guy and said, we got to get this infrastructure in place. And he said, well, I get it. But he says, you know what? I went and bought one clear down in Florida. He said, I made it all the way back to Kansas.
Yeah.
He says, but you just planned yourself. But he said, what I did was, on the map, when it showed where a charge station was, he said, I drove to that charge station. He said, I went to some pretty interesting places I found out from the United States, from Florida all the way back to Kansas.
Yeah, that you otherwise never would have stopped at.
So he said, there's kind of some neat things on that side of the coin too. But he said, I made it back. He said, I really didn't have to, you plan, that car plans it for you. Plans the trip and everything else for you too. So he said, did it take me a little longer? Sure it did. But he said, man, I had a good time coming back.
Like the old Route 66 years ago. And then they build the interstate and bypass all the little towns that Route 66 went right on through. And
exactly.
There's Lightning McQueen sitting on the side of the road.
There he is, right? Now that Josh, I've watched that movie many a times.
Yeah.
Many a times. But not that other one you always think I had.
Yeah.
Whatever. Good morning, Goose. And Goose, give us a shout. Let's get an update. What's going on at Kansas International Drag? We'd love to hear from you and everything else too. And Mr. Delbert Art, that is what the politicians want and get their agenda is to get electric vehicles out faster. Make gas expenses. People will flock to the electric basic economy. So yeah, I agree with you there on that too, Daryl. But just wish I could have a bunch of electric cars here sitting here for everybody. But
And I'm not sure long term. I mean, it's something that is going to have to be a slow process to transfer that. If everybody right now that was driving an internal combustion engine flipped to a fully electric vehicle from that side, the infrastructure, we don't have the infrastructure. Like, it would promote problems on the electrical side of things in order to be able to supply all these vehicles with their charging needs, for sure. So it's definitely a slow transition to be able to do
it's
that.
going to be. And then next thing is you've got to how long is it going to take for all the internal combustion engines vehicles to be gone?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to tell you that's 30 years.
Yeah. And you're going to have people that's
At
what
least
they want, from that side of it. So,
yeah, exactly.
I was I don't know, I was wondering how long before the motorsports really picked up the electrification side of it, like NASCAR, or even the NHRA. They don't have a sanctioned class for that yet, but there are a lot of these drag strips that have a lot of fully electric vehicles that run them on a basis with them. So.
Yep, exactly. Anyway, Goose, I hope you can call us. He's on a conference call. He says, Goose, we're on here till 10 o'clock. So if you get off your call, give us a shout. We'd love to get an update on what's happening to Kansas International Dragway. I do know there's a schedule out now, so that's cool. I know a lot of things are working in the background and stuff like that too. And, there's some, I've been hearing, don't like it, some negativity out there on what's happening to Kansas International Dragway. But I'm going to tell you, everybody, let's stop being negative. Let's talk about the positive things. This town needs a drag strip. We got some people behind it now that want to go with it. We need to go and make this happen. So let's stop the negativity. Let's talk about what's positive things and things we can do to make this a great racetrack and keep racing and everything else like that from that part. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything about these electric cars, new products, racing, anything there from that part, give us a shout. Love to hear from you. 316-462-3673. Yes, Delbert Alt says, Josh, you're right. They need to do this slower than they're being forced on proceeding. Yeah, I get it. There's going to be some forced stuff here too. But the next thing is I was at my Ford meetings in Miami talking about different things and stuff like that too. And I was sure hoping by now we'd be through this chip thing or at least have a good supply and demand of that.
Yeah.
But as I was sitting in the meeting on Monday morning, the Ford people there were with us, but basically there was 26 suppliers that could not meet the demand for Ford for this week. So basically all that does is just slow everything down even worse. So it's the chip thing. It's just magnetized into everything else going down through the whole process and stuff too. So we're a long road to hoe here yet before this whole supply chain and whole everything gets worked out and everything else too. And that, and then he saw that ship that sunk out in the ocean with 4,000 cars on it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy too, from that part. But it's going to be a while. Everybody needs to be patient. Everybody needs to understand it's just going to take a little bit to get there, and it'll get there eventually. But it's just going to take a while on these chips and stuff like that too. So, and again, it's not just the car industry; it's every industry that's out there from that part too. Yeah, in the same scenario.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But about can't go anywhere and see bare shelves or stuff like that along the way. So we've got a caller on the line. Let's go to the phone. Let's talk to Daryl. Daryl, you're on live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Yes, I like to ask a question. I've got a Ranger with a 2.3 liter engine in it. And the question I have is, what is an indication of bad fuel injectors? How does an engine work?
Yeah, so as far as bad fuel injectors, what year's your Ranger?
It's a 2005.
2005. There's a lot of things that can happen from that side. As far as a bad injector, there's a couple of different ways that an injector can fail. One is electronically. because it is electrically controlled. So as far as the computer commanding it or the injector itself electrically not working, and if that was the case, typically you would have a misfire in the engine from that side of it. And if there was a misfire in that particular vehicle, the computer is going to be able to pick it up. It would be something that you would be able to feel as well. And so from the electrical side, go ahead.
The reason I'm asking, when I go down the street road in about 25, 30 mile an hour in third gear, sometimes it will miss. It just sputters, and then it'll start going again. And a little while later, it misses again. And it only does it in third gear. And another thing, when I go up to stop and go into a store and come back out, a lot of times I have to crank and crank and crank before the engine starts. Other times it starts right off. So I didn't know if it's dirty fuel injectors or what.
Yeah, so that's where I was headed on the other side of the failure side of an injector. So an injector can fail electrically, but then it can also fail from a spray standpoint or aspect. So there's a couple ways that can happen. One is there can be carbon buildup on the tip of the injector that would allow the spray not to. When it sprays out, it comes out in a real fine, almost like a mist. And the newer vehicles are they're high pressure fuel systems and even more of a mist than something that old. But it does come out as a mist, and then the spray pattern is in the shape of a V. As carbon builds up on the tips of those injectors, it affects that pattern. Maybe doesn't look like a V, maybe comes out and drops instead of a mist. Things like that, and all of that is going to affect performance and fuel economy and how that cylinder is burning from that side of it. But another thing that a lot of people don't understand too is on the injector, on the fuel side of it, or on the intake side of that injector, a lot of them have screens in them. And then rust will build up in the fuel system, and then will build up on the screen of the injector, and then again that affects how much fuel that injector is able to deliver. A lot of times when you see an injector fail in that matter, it's not an intermittent issue per se, like maybe what you're having on the sometimes this and sometimes not, but not saying that it couldn't be either. BG has a couple of great products. One was the 44K, which goes into the fuel system, and that does help clean both the carbon buildup and the insides of the injectors as well. But then another way an injector can fail, which you had said when you shut the vehicle off and you come back out and it has a long crank. Sometimes an injector can leak. So when it's not being electrically controlled, that injector may leak, and it puts a bunch of unburned fuel into that cylinder. So then when you come back out and start, it's almost like it's flooded that one cylinder. So when that does happen, are you experiencing a lot of smoke at that point, or?
No, I don't notice any smoke at all.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll get some smoke when it finally does start up. The other thing that could happen for that long crank, like what you're talking about, is there's a check valve in the fuel pump of the vehicle, and basically every time you shut that vehicle off, it holds the line pressure of the fuel system, and so that when you go back out to restart it, that pressure is right there already and ready to go. Well, there's a check valve in the fuel pump, or in the back in the tank of the vehicle, or pressure regulator from that side of it, and those items could leak. And it allows that fuel to bleed back off. And so what happens is when you go back out to the vehicle and you go to start it up, it's got to regain that fuel pressure before it's able to fire and take off. So if it's not smoking or anything. I would say that it's probably more on that side of things than it is on a leaking injector. But Daryl, what we can do, we can throw a diagnostic onto your package at no charge to you and take a look at that vehicle and see if we can figure out exactly what's going on with it for you.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know whether or not that they need to be cleaned, or you mentioned that BG additive, add that or what?
Yeah, so cleaning the injectors is definitely a good thing to do. How many miles do you have on the thing?
74,000.
Yeah. And then have you ever replaced like the spark plugs or anything like that?
Never have.
Yeah.
Never have.
So a lot of times what you see under a load condition or a high load condition like that, and if it just kind of cuts out or jerks, a lot of times it's more on the ignition side with either plugs or wires. But I mean, it certainly could be an injector, causing trouble as well. But typically what we find is on the ignition side of it. So, but we'll throw a diagnostic onto your package again at no charge to you and figure out just exactly what's going on with the thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the call.
All right, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get something answers here. Love to answer your questions, everything else from that part. And James Furman made a comment here too. When he saw that ship sink, what do you think divers are going to find out here in 25, 30 years? Of course, I guess it depends on where that ship went down and how far down it is or whatever too. But it was some big high-end cars too that went down.
Really?
It was Porsches, Lamborghinis. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that part of it. So
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would assume that I'm sure there's some sort of government agency that like an EPA or something that they probably have to do some sort of recovery on that stuff just to get it out of the
I'm kind of
ocean,
wondering is what happened to the what caused the fire on the ship.
Yeah.
What made it burn, what made it happen, whatever from that part would also be another interesting story to find out what really happened there from that part too.
I'm going to make a guess. The water pump went out in the engine, I think, and it just overheated. You
think? I don't know. Going to be interesting to find out. Okay, got a couple more questions here we can do here. Dustin Frenia. How can I update my 20 Expedition electronics? My radio navigation runs slow. For instance, when I'm driving and select steering controls to change the station, it reacts slow. Can I do it over my home Wi-Fi? Also electric running. Lards also get hung up at times. What do I mean lards? I mean phone calls probably get hung up at times. The first thing, Dustin, what I would do if I was you is go over in the dash in the settings and do a master reset on it and see what that does. On a 2020.
So it will do some over-the-air updates
yes.
On the sync side of things. That with over-the-air updates, there's a lot of criteria that it has to meet from that side of it. And so it may, because not knowing what your drive schedule is and what you're doing there, the newer vehicles, on that 20,
it's the 2020,
on the 2020, I don't believe that it has the options, but these
some of the
newer stuff, you can actually go in and set parameters of when the vehicle can do updates, and so it knows then the vehicle's better equipped to be able to push larger updates when otherwise it maybe couldn't have. But Ford is, really all manufacturers are going a lot more to over-the-air updates. But yes, that vehicle does have the ability to do it, but it's more limited on the updates that it can take versus ones that have to be done or performed, by a dealer. Or the other side of that is you can always download that information on a flash drive and then put it in through the USB port as well.
So Dustin, first thing is go ahead and do the master reset. It takes about 5 minutes to go through that whole process and then hook it to your home Wi-Fi. And there's another setting in there to go and do the downloads that you can do and let it download it also. But I'm thinking what you have, let's do those first two steps. If that doesn't fix it or doesn't get any better, then bring it to us and let us go put in the updates that you need to have
Yeah.
put in there. I know you didn't buy it. You just bought that thing not too long ago. So want to get that fixed up and everything else for you too. So try that master reset, hook it to your home Wi-Fi. And I would still hook it to your home Wi-Fi anyway if it doesn't get this fixed for future down the road, any kind of updates that Ford might come up with or whatever, we can do that. So and let us know how that does. And if it doesn't, we'll come get it from you, Dustin, and put some more updates in it for you.
I mean, think about, I guess, changes and updates and stuff like that. I mean, your phone now, at least once a month, if not
got
2 or
update.
3 times.
Probably just check right now. So we got an update. Probably got an update going on here.
I mean, they evolve and change, on a couple week basis, easy, from that side. And, the vehicle kind of has to keep up with all that and all those changes. And I think, back to when, the, My Touch came out back in 13, maybe 11, 12, somewhere around in there. But all the phones that it had to be capable with. And then as those phones evolved and changed, and I mean, we were then probably at the iPhone 3 and now we're at the where we're at, and they change all the time. That's just something that, these manufacturers have to make sure that they're compatible with everything, you know?
Hey, guess what? My phone's up to date, Josh.
Okay, good.
Now, no kidding aside, though, everybody, I used to get a lot of flack. I mean, a lot of flack, because I always would say, let's put the latest updates in. See somebody laughing over here?
Yeah.
There's a couple other people used to laugh about that stuff. And now it's really intense on how many of these updates are out there really fixing cars. Josh, think about it. Back in your day, in my day, we were greasy, grimy, tearing stuff apart. And we're still doing some of them, not near as much. But I'm telling you, it's more likely you're going to walk into a stall today and that tech's sitting in a driver's seat with a laptop plugged into it, programming something.
Yeah, definitely would agree with that. I mean, years ago, there was a PROM chip in the PCM, and that was the update or the calibration, I guess. And you literally physically pulled it out of the computer and stuck it in, another one or put it in.
And I can still remember this blue Grand Am that I fought for a check engine light and a little bit of a drivability problem on an EGR valve. And I did everything in the world and could not fix that car. And finally, Pontiac come out with a chip PROM replacement, put the PROM replacement in, fixed everything. But I fought that thing forever.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And, all these manufacturers are pushing for over-the-air updates, which is from a consumer experience. If you can fix a problem before it even happens or starts, and it doesn't require the customer to make a visit to the dealership or have to set the appointment or take the vehicle in or any of that stuff, and you can do all that. I mean, just the customer experience of that ownership is going to be so much better. And so I understand completely why they're doing it from that side, for sure.
Yep. Anyway, we've got a caller on.
We do. We're getting them patched through now, so we'll get him up here.
Yes, and Jason Cox, I agree with the new Ford F-150 trimmer. Looks badass. It is a good-looking truck and everything. Selling them things as fast as we can get them. So if you're looking for one of those, you probably just need to get in line, is the way I can tell you, much as I hate to tell you on that standpoint. Do you have a few more coming and stuff like that too, but we're actually pre-selling them too.
What so colors-wise, I've seen quite a few of the blues for sure. Seen I think a couple of reds, but are they only available in some?
And I don't know exactly all those colors, Josh, but just a few colors that are available in that trimmer package because of all the stuff that goes into that trimmer and everything. Now, I will tell you, me personally, I don't know about you, Josh, but I think the back end is too high in it, or we need to raise the front up.
Yeah. Put a leveling kit in it.
Once we get done with Goose, I got to get your opinion on another guy. I had a little conversation with a gentleman this morning, and we'll get that going too. So, Goose, you're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead, buddy. How are you?
What's going on? Good morning.
Hey, it's Saturday morning. And
it's Saturday. Things are great.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, what's new and exciting?
We're really excited. We got some good things going on. Got the equipment coming in this week. Got schedule going up. Got more coming on with the schedule. Got new things coming on. Pretty excited.
All right. Well, that's good. Goose, before you got on the show, I don't know if you was listening or not or whatever, I've heard there's been some bad comments and things out there about what's happening at KID. And I told everybody, let's stop the negativity. Let's figure out how to help you guys build this thing. Okay.
Amen to that, brother. Amen. Look, we have done some research. We know exactly who is doing the negativity, and we're going to make sure that we do everything the right way. And, if the person doesn't like what we're doing, then, it's ta-ta.
Yeah, it's just time we don't need to live in that negative world out there. And from that part, I know everything that I've sat down and talked to you with and where you're headed, where your head's at, your ideas, your enthusiasm, all that kind of stuff is going to move us forward. It's just going to take a little time to correct all the things that need to be corrected and get fixed and everything else like that too. And I think you're going to have a little bit of challenges going through this first year, but after that, I think you'll get through all that kind of stuff too. But we're here to support you, help you, and get you where you need to be from the Mel Hambelton Ford Racing side of this thing and help you support that track. So whatever else.
We love it. We love your support. We are just ecstatic with all the new things that we've got going on. And I'll tell you what, we will take the time to do it right so that we can do a win-win with everyone. We're not out there to try to disrupt anybody's lives, nor are we the ones that are going to make things complicated. We're going to work within, our guidelines of what's right and what's wrong. But I tell you what, we have got an overwhelming support from Wichita and outside of Wichita to get this track going, get it up and running, and we're going forward.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. So is there anything else you can talk about what's happening out there? Any other changes you've made so far or anything else like that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, you bet. We're up there all this last week and met with an engineer. We're even looking to put a tower over the starting line by year one. Just getting some bids in right now. Have talked with the concrete guy. We got a little more negotiations to do. I think that with the excitement of internally from us guys that are behind getting this place going, we have decided to try to handle things on our own. We do have some great people that are talking to us about sponsoring and coming on, which we have decided to leave that at their own leisure. And when they come in, they come in. But in the meantime, we're just going to move forward. You guys have really been a great line of support. And I think that the whole Wichita area ought to know that Mel Hambelton has been a very big line of support, not financially necessarily, but just influence on racing, and the fact that you guys have such a huge line of Hoosier tires. I just was amazed when we were up there. Our race team out here in Oklahoma has actually been coordinating with Nick to get parts. It's just exciting, and I hope that everybody will, stop all the negativity. And again, it's just a handful,
right?
More positive than negative. So we're just going to move forward, and we're always open to new suggestions. We do know that we've got a lot of things ahead of us, but we're going to do this in a good, positive manner. Our home will be finished up there. We'll be residents, and we're just looking for just the pure excitement of having that track open 5 days a week.
Well, that's good. I love the commitment of moving here too, Goose. I think that's huge for the success of the track and everything else for Wichita, and to show that. So really excited for that, that you're moving here and everything else and all the other things you're doing to progress this track in the right way. So how about some dates? Any dates you want to throw out yet of anything that's kind of happening so people kind of know what's going on there?
Well, I do know that the opening date was the 9th, but it's been pushed to the 10th so that we can give the Mid-America track the courtesy, that because they had an event there. So April 10th, we are going to open up with a big no prep race, $5,000 that I'm putting up on top of whatever the entry fees are. All of it's 100% payout. And then I think we have some other races that are lined up to follow on that particular day. I think it'll be a great opening.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Going to be exciting and stuff too. And with everything else that you got going on, Goose, you got a lot on your plate and stuff like that. So I hope you can get some good employees behind you There's a lot of people out here I know that want to help you and all that kind of stuff too. So get the right crew behind you and all that good stuff too. So to make your job a little easier, but it is going to be a little challenging at first. I get it. So, but you just got to know that we're here.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. Tuesday we have a big meeting, and that's all about the employees and about who we're going to bring on board, and we're excited about that.
Okay, well, let's talk about Tuesday. What time and where and all that good stuff are you doing that so people kind of know what to do if they're interested in coming to be an employee at Kansas International Dragway?
Well, it's going to get announced, and I've got a person that's going to be announcing it here shortly.
Okay.
And I'm not going to step on their toes, and it's like I said, it will get announced. And the way that the social media works, and especially with this track, it goes out real quick.
Yeah, I get it, Goose. I get it very much on what's happening there too. So, well, that's cool, exciting. Can't wait to see how we progress, how you do, everything else like that. And again, just can't stress enough that we're here to support the track and support you, support your family, everybody else that you need to do in your workforce to get behind this thing and get things going to where we can to have a great time out at International Drag. We got a lot of stuff planned, and the police department is committed to do their race again with us. Race the Police, that was fun and exciting last year.
Very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so that'll be fun to do that again, and a few more dates getting picked up and everything else too from that part. So,
well, I just one last thing. The track is going forward, and there's no stopping us. Nobody's getting in front of us. We will have the best racetrack in Wichita by the time we're done.
I want to agree with you 100%. And I think you'll, with your attitude and everything else that's going on there, Goose, and you're all right. Let's get rid of the negativity. Let's get rid of those few people that are complaining. They can go race somewhere else as far as I'm concerned. Let's go take care of the people that want to race out here, have a good time, and build this thing into what it needs to build to, and have fun with it. That's my opinion.
Exactly. And if I can reiterate, the only thing they're racing is their couch and their remote.
I love those keyboard warriors, don't you? I'm with you there 100%
yes,
too. Some of that part. So, well, Goose, excited for Tuesday. We'll be waiting for that announcement on that side of situations and stuff. And everybody stay tuned to the Kansas International Dragway Facebook page. I'm sure that's where you're going to be posting a lot of stuff there too. If you don't like it, get out there and like the Kansas International Dragway page so you can stay up on all the updates, all the stuff that's happening. And let's go racing. It's that time of the year.
That's right. Sure. That's right. Hopefully on opening day, Phil, we'll have you guys out there with your show live for a little bit.
Make it happen. We'll be there. It'll be fun.
All right, boss.
Goose, thanks for the call. Good luck on anything. Keep the phone lines open to us, whatever you need, so we can support you and help make this a great, fun, fantastic time at Kansas International Dragway, buddy.
You got it. You just have a great day.
You too, buddy. Thanks for the call. All right, 316-462-3673. Great to see all the exciting stuff happen at Kansas International Dragway. So here we go. Let's go racing. That's what it amounts to. So let's get the phones ringing.
You know what, the way the weather was, well, I don't know, maybe you didn't get to see it as much, but the way the weather was here this last week, it's definitely spring fever. And then I think a week from tomorrow is the time change. So that's going to be huge too.
A week from tomorrow? It's just week?
No, next Sunday. So not, a week from tomorrow. Will be I'm pretty sure that's the time change, which that's always excited too. And
you're not a kid in there, Josh.
We're on the uphill battle of this thing, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right too. So let's see if my calendar tells me that next weekend is.
I'm pretty sure daylight savings, or well, no. But that's super exciting, and like I said, it was. Of course, now I don't know. They were talking about snow again on Monday, but we won't talk about that. So, but it's got to be a quick.
It is daylight savings, March 13th.
There you
buddy.
go. Quick little blip of cold, and then on to spring. That's what we're gonna do. That's the game plan. So
I hear you. I hear you, Josh. And here we go. It's time to go racing. It's time to go have some fun.
How about on the dirt track side of things? Like, when's your first race, and are you ready for that?
No, I'm not quite ready yet, but we're close.
Of
course, USMTS kicked off last night down in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Had 76 modifieds. Big race, and got a 5,000 to win last night. Tonight is a 10,000 to win. Dustin Sorensen picked up the win down there. Tanner finished up 4th from that part. So had a pretty good showing there for the first night of getting warmed up, getting ready to go. So tonight's a $10,000 win. Jump on Racing Dirt. That's the best place to go if you can't get down to Perry, Texas. And our partners there at Racing Dirt, jump on there live with them too. Trent, see if he can jump on the show here real quick and see if he can give us any kind of updates what's happening down there.
Talk about last night.
Yeah, let's get a little text here and see if he can
going on or going to go on today. And that's in Perry, Texas.
Perry, Texas.
Yeah, those guys. It's definitely that time of year for sure. And we had our race open house a couple weeks ago, and then last week we did the not a leap year sale, which there was a good turnout for that as well. And so, the race open house went very well.
Had a great time there, and everything else from that part on the race open house. Had a lot of people here, sold a lot of parts, gave away a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
had a lot of prizes and stuff there too. Some of that part. Last weekend was not a leap year sale, which was another huge success and everything else too. Jason Gorton was our lucky winner of the Bronco. So that was cool and fun to have the McCurdy Auto auction out here, auctioning off the Bronco. We'll have to do that a little more on some different things and stuff. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. It's always, I don't know, been to a lot of different auctions, a lot of cattle auctions or land auctions with my grandfather, but there was times that he would be bidding on stuff and I'm not even sure he knew what he was, how much he was. No, I knew what I know I knew what he was bidding on. I'm just not sure how much he knew if he was bidding it for or how much it was going for. And then I know a couple of different occasions where there's somebody else bidding and he was just determined he wasn't going to lose it.
There you go.
So,
yep, I'm with you on that too, 100%. So anyway, hey, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. And we'll answer your questions and calls and stuff like that. We'll see if Trenton Berry's up. They had a late night last night, Josh, so he still might be snoozing away, getting caught up on some rest and stuff for everything down at Perry, Texas. I'm going to tell you, I fell asleep before the heat races are over.
Oh, really?
So I didn't get to see much of it either. I saw a little bit of qualifying and that kind of thing, but then I don't know why I couldn't stay up, but I couldn't stay up.
With that many entries, I'm guessing it went a little long for sure.
It did.
So
it did. So anyway, Josh, you're asking about our first. What I'm trying to hit is March 26th at RPM in Hayes is a practice day.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to maybe hit that and get a little practice in up there at Hayes. We've never raced at Hayes. So we're going to try that track and see how that is up there.
Very good. Yeah.
And Chris Sutton, who works for B&B, also helps with Salina Speedway. But B&B Hydraulics, another good partner of ours too. And he's also taking care of Hayes. So we never made it to Hayes last year, just couldn't get it fit in our schedule. So we're going to try to jump up there on March 26th for practice. And then I believe we have April the 2nd, then we'll be in Dodge City for a practice there.
Very good.
From our start. And I'm trying to see when. It looks like probably April 9th is probably, or April the 8th is probably our first race in Dodge City. It's kind of where we're at.
Well, very good. Yeah. It's excited. It's right around the corner. That's for sure. From that side of things. So,
yeah. Anyway, getting some more text coming in here. Hope Trenton's up and alive, but we'll find out here and everything else.
And then we've got, we were talking about the race open house and how that went, and then the leap year sale, or not a leap year sale. So we've got the fuel station is all but a go. We need to get some fuel delivered. I think Nick talked to them here towards the beginning of last week, and I'm not sure what that date is, but as far as us being able to help people out on bulk fuels, that's going to be a huge help for us. So put the finishing touches on that here towards the later part of this week. So
good, we get that fired off and going too.
Yep.
And everything else in that phone.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge help on that side of things. So
it is. I'm sorry, Josh. I'm still answering text to Ryan Sauer. Good morning, Ryan. How are you doing, buddy? Haven't heard from you in a while. Glad to hear you, see you on the show and stuff. Call in. Got any questions or something, Ryan? Love to hear from you, buddy. Anyway, just got a good picture sent to us of one of our race cars down in Perry, Texas. Joe Duvall, who's one of our guys we sponsor up and everything else like that too. And it goes right past. And they got a picture of our banner in the background.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same time. So pretty cool picture. courtesy of, he said it is Buck Monson Photography. So I'm going to kind of get that picture and everything else too from that part. So pretty cool picture there. I'm sure there's a lot of good pictures and stuff down there. Tyler Rankin's down there taking some good pictures, and I'm telling you, that guy, I don't know how he does it, but he is a phenomenal photographer and everything else. And then the video photographer and everything else he does down there, he's incredible too.
So I want to know, well, I maybe don't want to know, but how many bad pictures are there to get the good ones? You know?
Oh.
So if I was running it,
Think about that back in the day when you'd have to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
And now you can just all the electronic stuff. So you can just delete them off and
delete
keep
it.
going. Yeah, I know that. I bet there is quite a few bad ones too on top of that too. Hey, good morning, Vincent. How are you? Thanks for watching and everything else too. So yeah, there's probably some bad ones too. I get it. I get that.
Well, for
part of
me,
it, too.
there would be anyways. I don't know.
Woo, there wouldn't be any good ones coming out of me. If I had to make my living taking photos, be living on the street, Josh. That's for sure. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to answer your questions, everything else from that part. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world, anything at all. Love to hear from you. So anyways, see what else we left out, Josh. You talked about everything there from that part. Anything else exciting happened in the shop this week or anything that's
you know, it's a lot of maintenance from that side of things. The quick lane has just been extremely busy down there, and getting those guys up and going for sure. The main store's been busy as well as far as on the repair side of it, but just what these guys go through to change oil, to just change oil on something, the consumer, you getting that time set or that mindset of well, that's a 10 or 15-minute job. Well, to do it right, I mean, it's really not. To be able to go through and check all the tire pressures and top off all the fluids and do a good inspection of the vehicle and rotate the tires and reset oil, mind your lights and everything like that. And if you're getting that job done in 10, 15 minutes,
can't happen.
And I just it's just not that's not how that works.
Nope.
Not in a positive manner, I guess, to be able to look over that vehicle and make sure that everything's going okay and to check in on it. I mean, 5,000 miles in between oil change intervals is a long ways, and there's a lot that can happen in that amount of time.
You're not a kid and think,
sure.
well, we used to go 200-300 miles and do the same thing we're doing average 5,000. That's the other thing
Yeah.
too. So, hey, good morning, Shelly. I'm with you. I can't wait for race season to start, and I wish your Bronco was here for you to test drive already, but I'm going to tell you, probably not too far around the corner for it's going to get a build date on it and stuff, Shelly. So excited for you to get that Bronco, and got a lot of Broncos in the order bank and stuff too. And from that part, so just excited for more Broncos. Keep showing them. Had a couple show up this week and stuff too. Finally, that part finally got all the 21s here that we were going to get. So that's good to have that past us and moving forward. So anyway, so yeah, Shelly, excited for all the Bronco people and all.
So every 21's been delivered at this
all
point.
delivered. Yes.
Very good.
All
Yeah,
delivered,
very good.
done. Out, as they say, busting bugs. So anyway, I did hear that one of our Broncos got rear-ended. Just picked it up this week and got rear-ended yesterday.
No.
Yeah, so I need to see what's happened with that situation too. Make sure he's getting taken care of. Just heard about that late last night. So from that part, so
yeah, that's always nervous about that when you get like a brand new model line or product line of trying to obtain parts. They're putting all their efforts into getting them through the assembly line from that side of it, and so I don't know, that's always hard to hear for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, anyway, Josh, we haven't talked much about some of the great people that help keep this show moving each and every week, which is BG Products. I mean, we talked a little bit about them earlier. Can't thank enough of those guys, the partnership we have with BG. Going to have some fun time with them at the NADA show this Friday. So we're all 6 of us are headed to NADA Thursday through the weekend to see some new and latest and greatest stuff in the automobile world. Love to see what we're going to learn and see all the new products and all that kind of stuff to help our dealership keep running top notch and everything else too. So have some fun with BG Friday there at NADA. But again, just can't thank those guys enough for the great partnership we have with them and all the stuff they have to keep your car running many, many miles. And remember, in your owner's manual, they don't see lost my whole train of thought. Well, the owner's manual. The owner's manual, you're not going to see any BG products in owner's manual because the manufacturers don't recommend it because they don't care, but nothing but the warranty period. After that, it's your baby. So remember, what's in that owner's manual is the bare minimum you need to do. Just let our service advisor sit down with you and build you a plan. And we got a great plan for your driving habits. Everybody drives differently, and what you need to have done to your car, and let us take care of that car to make it run as many miles as you possibly can from that part. And I promise you the BG products will be a great addition to that.
Very much so. Yeah, the amount of research and development that they do, on everything, on new models, on even existing products that they have, with new chemical makeup and stuff. Just making sure that the product that you're getting is a superior product is absolutely impressive. The research and development that they put into that to
Yep.
make sure that you're getting what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Big Corner Creative. Yes, that's our company. But you got to give a shout out to those guys. Everything they do down there, it's just not just a wrap company.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything from advertising your company, anything you need for a website, digital marketing, traditional marketing, anything to help advertise your business, to make your business grow bigger and bigger. Jesse has got a great team down there. And yes, we do race car wraps, and yes, we do vehicle wraps, and we do window tint.
Yep.
And everything else from that part down there at Big Corner Creative. It's a one-stop shop for your advertising needs to take care of you, whether you're a racer, whether you're a business owner, or whether you're just a person who would love to get a website out of some of the products or things you're selling. I promise you that they'll take good care of you down at Big Corner Creative. And as they say, just Google us from that part. Also, Big Corner, God dang, can't spit that one out, can I? Go to Rent right inside here at Mel Hambelton Ford. Yeah, I know we own Go to Rent and everything else like that too. And hey, Stan, I bought Stan about 20 more vehicles.
Yeah.
So he's got a great fleet of vehicles over there. Bought a bunch of 2020 Explorers and 2020 Edges to replace some of the older Explorers that were coming out of there. So if you're looking for a nice road trip car, don't want to put the miles in your car or whatever, give Stan a call right inside here at Mel Hambelton Ford, and we'll get you into your rental car and get you all set up. And it looks like Trenton's coming through the line. So let's get Trenton on here and see what Trenton's got to tell.
Yeah, but if you're needing a vehicle to go on a road trip, or just vehicle down, or whatever you need there, Stan will help you out over there with the
Exactly.
with the Go to Rent for sure. So yeah, that those vehicles were definitely a benefit or a plus for the service side of things for sure. So let's go to the phones and talk to Trenton.
Trenton Berry, good morning.
Yeah, hey, how are you guys doing?
We kind of wonder if you was awake yet, Trenton. I fell asleep even before the heat races were over last night, so I had to get up this morning, look at my race pass, and see who won and how everybody finished up and everything else. So I'm sure you had a late night, didn't you?
You did. I was standing in line to get my coffee at the local coffee shop here in beautiful Paris, Texas. So yeah, I'm good and ready to roll.
All right, so we had a good night last night. 5,000 to win, 10,000 to win tonight. So going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it really is. It was, it turned out to be a pretty wild feature last night. Jason Hughes, he got up on top and he was racing like he was 25 years old again, and thing had a little character up, especially up the top of 1 and 2. And I was down in the infield watching. I was over in that corner, and it was pretty exciting to say the least. But yeah, Dustin Sorensen got around him there late, and it was a wild race, man. Phil, I knew that there would be a lot of cars. I had a lot of people ask me, hey, how many cars you think? And I told a lot of them, I said, well, I'll be kind of disappointed if we don't get 60. I mean, I didn't expect we'd get 76, though. I mean, they just blew the top off of what I expected there.
Yeah, everybody's excited, Trenton. I think everybody's ready to go racing and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's part of it too. But it's exciting to see that the first night of USMTS racing, and the partnership we have with you at Racing Dirt and USMTS, and excited for that. I mean, that's huge for racing, huge for everybody, and that sort of thing too. So you said it was kind of a wild feature. It looked like maybe, do we have a wreck somewhere around lap 10, 20 or something like that or something?
There was a couple different things in that A main. Really nothing anybody's fault. It just, you get that cast of characters, and anybody that races at that level, that hard with that much on the line. Occasionally a couple guys get together, and they had, probably, I don't know, it just, a couple guys got together up front, right? Like you don't expect to see Derek Ramirez roll off on the hook, and just some uncharacteristic things, and it just happens, and these racetracks too, Phil. Even even where we're at down here in Texas, it's cool, right? And they have their fair share of winter too. So all these guys have a lot to do to get those things back in order and get them back in really good racing shape. So they'll get it done. And this one's, you know, the really neat story here about this racetrack is the fact that it was just kind of an on again, off again place. And Kevin Sestair, who's a longtime racer from this area, he owns a plumbing company, and then his partner Kevin Rogers, that everybody knows that follows racing, a huge online persona and a great guy too. Really promotes a lot of different endeavors. Well, these two guys have teamed up on this thing, and Sestair bought it over the winter, and they've taken a track that was just kind of, you know, sometimes they'd run, sometimes they didn't, and it's a great place. They've pretty much got a blank slate to work with here. There's a track here and a ton of land, and not a lot else right where it's at. So I'm excited to see what their vision is. These guys are serious about racing. Dallas has always had a lot of race cars. Dallas has always struggled to have a quantity of long-term successful promoters. The promoter quality in this area has never really matched the racer quality in this area. And this guy's one of the really good ones that's been at it a long time. So I'm excited to see what that endeavor is now that he owns the place and they're not just working off a lease. So it's going to be a pretty cool thing down here at this racetrack.
Well, it looked like when I was watching the show last night and everything, it looked like the track looked good. It was smooth. It was wide open. Did the track hold out for the features and everything good? Since I fell asleep and couldn't stay awake.
Yeah, middle of top of one got a little treacherous late in the night. They brought the blade out at intermission and smoothed the top off, and they kind of reset the lip of that thing, basically, kind of where they wanted it. Yep. And you know, it had its share of things factor into the outcome of that A main, but man, it's just it's tough, and it legitimately, Phil. There's so many brand new pieces coming together on that thing last night. They really did for everything they had to deal with to get it rolling. They really did a good job, and aside from that as well, had a great Friday night crowd for a place that wasn't typically a Friday night racetrack. So that bodes really well too. To me, as a guy that goes all over the country, that's cool to see the power of the USMTS there for that.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. You know, in Trenton, you know, when I'm racing and stuff like that, and I hear Betty complaining about the racetrack and stuff, but you know what? We all race exactly the same racetrack. So it really doesn't matter what the racetrack is. You got to learn to adapt to that racetrack, learn to how the racetrack changes and adapts, and you've got to change and adapt to that racetrack for sure. But I thought the track looked great.
You do.
Yeah. But I thought the track looked fantastic from what I was watching. Again, I didn't watch about halfway through again, but that's okay. We'll be live tonight, Trenton. You always do a great broadcast out there too. So everybody wanting to watch USMTS tonight, you need to get on Racing Dirt in Trenton. How do they get on there? How do they find you or whatever to be able to watch the races tonight at Perry, Texas?
Yeah, you can go to race on racingdirt.tv. You can go right there. You can also basically whatever favorite app you have, you know, whether it's Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Apple App Store, Google Play Store, if you're an Android user. We have individual apps that are built for each of those platforms as well that you can sign in and subscribe through as well. On any of those apps, you know, once you get in, you're basically 2 clicks to watching whatever you'd like to watch. And we've got now, I've always said we had a 10-year archive. I think we're going on about a 12-year archive right now of past events and things that are there too. So, man, it's great, Phil. The only thing better than the racing Friday was rolling down the road in that Mel Hambelton Ford Super Duty that gets us from point A to point B, buddy.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I really,
that's
Trenton, I can't thank you enough for the partnership we had between Racing Dirt and Mel Hambelton Ford and Mel Hambelton Ford Racing and Big Corner Creative and all that good stuff too. And it's a great partnership, and we're going to support you all the way we can to help keep these races so people can watch from a distance, because, you know, USMTS goes all over the country. But don't you have some other races you're going to start doing this year too to let everybody know about?
Yeah, we had our first one last night as well. It kind of ran in conjunction with this, and it flew under the radar a little bit, but it was in Meeker, Oklahoma. It was an Oil Capital Racing Series sprint cars, and so we're going to do a little bit of open wheel racing this year. I don't know the exact quantity of events. Some of our stuff towards the end of the year we're still kind of to be determined and working on to figure out what needs to happen there. But we're going to do some ASCS regional stuff and some 305 sprint car racing as well. Terry Maddox, great promoter from the Tulsa area, young guy, has got his hands in a lot of different endeavors, and we've kind of partnered with him a little bit, and URSS is part of that as well. Going to cover some of those events too. So yeah, looking forward to just doing a few different things. It's literally nothing new other than on our platform, other than we just need to get a couple different people up to speed and get a little more equipment rolling out there. We have the platform and everything set up to be able to do that. So looking forward to that. And they're going to race again at Meeker, Oklahoma this evening as well. So another great racetrack, and that'll be one USMTS will be at a little bit further down the road. But hey, I just want to take a second to Phil and tell you, man, I know, you guys are obviously in the car business, and the racing side kind of feeds that car business, and you're dealing in the automotive world and gearheads and everything, how that whole program there ties together. But man, I just want to take a second and tell you guys thanks from the racing world for what you guys do, because that's certainly something that works good for your business, but that's a labor of love too, and a lot of effort goes into that. And I know you got a lot of good people around there that assist you and kind of at your direction to make that racing program go. And I just want to take a second to tell you how appreciated that is from the racing world that you guys do that, because as anybody knows, whether you're turning your TV on Fox television on Sunday or you're going to your local dirt racetrack, none of that happens without people that love that sport as much as any of us do, that get behind that and are really the lifeblood and the steam engine to keep pushing those things along. It takes a tremendous amount of resources and effort, no matter what your role is in motorsports, to keep that entire thing going. And Phil, you guys are as serious about it as anybody I've ever seen in the entire time we've ever been involved with this. And I can't thank you enough for what you guys do to keep racing going. And whether it's like your deal with Monza for the drag racing side, asphalt, short track, dirt track, man, you guys cover all the bases, and it is so appreciated what you guys do and what you put into it.
Appreciate that very much, Trenton. And, we are, as much as we got a lot of gearheads around here and a lot of racers and stuff too, Lisa Hambelton loves racing. And so that's part of the reason we're into so deep, because she loves to go, loves to watch, all that kind of things too. But Trenton, I really appreciate that very much. And it is a lot of work. It is a lot of effort, a lot of hours and everything else like that too. But anything we can do to give back to the racing world, this can't be just a take kind of a deal. And that's where yours, Racing Dirt, and Mel Hambelton Ford, the partnership there is second to none. And everything else from that part. And I can't thank you enough for what you're doing to keep these races out there and available for everybody to see, and everything you've done there too. And just glad to support you to keep that Mel Hambelton Ford truck running up and down the road each one of these races, and excited for where you're headed with more beautiful things with racing and everything else too. It's going to be a fun year, that's for sure.
If I had $10 million in the bank, there's nothing I'd run up and down the road with that I'd prefer to drive other than the Ford Super Duty bought right there from the big corner, my man.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you very much. Well, hey, go get some good caffeine in you, get you ready for another exciting night of racing. We'll be cheering you on from Wichita with the big screen TV on, cheering and hollering for you and everything else like that. And thanks for the great keeping us up to date on everything as the racing goes on there tonight and everything else too. Excited. Hey, starts a little early tonight too, right? The races start at 6. So what time do you go live tonight?
Yeah, so they told us last night in the booth, and I didn't catch what the advertised start time was, but they said they plan to put the first cars on the racetrack at 5:45 this evening. So that looked to me like that's going to be right about an hour earlier than last night. So if it's 5:45, we should have the stream up and running 5 o'clock or just shortly thereafter.
All right, that sounds good. All right, buddy. Well, again, thanks for calling in. I'm glad you were awake. I was telling Josh when I texted you to see if you wanted to jump on the air real quick and talk about what happened last night. I said, I wonder if he's up yet. But so glad you're up. Glad you got the time to call in and talk to us and everything else too. So thanks again for everything. And let's wait for a great race season and make it happen.
I got all the time in the world for you boys. Thank you very much.
Trenton, good luck tonight. We'll be cheering you on, having fun, and keep them races going, buddy.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Trenton. All right, Trenton Berry from Racing Dirt. Everybody tune in tonight on Racing Dirt. And again, you can get on any platform whatsoever to watch those races down at USMTS. Racing Dirt does a fantastic job of keeping you live and the coverage and everything else too. So anyway, Josh, it's time to go.
It is.
And hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next Saturday.